Welcome to the Platform Podcast, where we talk to coaches, athletes, experts, and real people to learn about their approaches to training, nutrition, mindset, and much more. I am your host, Jordan Kunde-Wright, founder and head coach of the Twin Cities Kettlebell Club, and our mission is to become our best selves through sport. Now, on this episode, it is St. Paddy's Day 2025, and keeping up with the tradition, I am once again interviewing my friend David Keohan, a kettlebell sport athlete and Irish stone lifter, Indiana Stones. He has been going all over Europe and frankly all over the world, continuing his journey to revive the art and stories that go with stone lifting from all around the world, and he has so many cool things going on. I absolutely love these conversations. It is a highlight of my year every year. It is the thing I look forward to the most on St. Paddy's Day. And we crack a pint. Yeah, it was 9 a.m. for me, but that's okay. No judgment, because it was St. Paddy's Day and everybody's a little bit Irish on St. Paddy's Day. And I am very Irish, so I didn't mind it. It was just the 1 pint, I promise. 1 pint and 1 shot. And we had a really great time talking, and he has so many cool updates to share. I hope you enjoy this episode as much as I enjoyed doing the interview. So without further ado, let's step onto the platform with Mr. David Keohan. All right, welcome into this year's episode of the St. Paddy's Day special with our own Indiana Stones from Ireland, Mr. David Keohan. I think the longest running and most frequent guest on the podcast. I think it's down to you and Bobby Hicks as to who's been on the podcast more times, but happy St. Paddy's Day, mate. I think this is maybe the first time we've ever recorded it actually on St. Paddy's Day, at least in stateside. So
I think it actually is.
yeah,
I think it is, man. Yes. So happy Paddy's Day to you. Have you got a drink there? You're going to take it easy.
I do. I've got a pint of Guinness, and I cracked open a bottle of Powers Irish Gold Label.
Oh,
I'm
liking that. Before. Remember we were talking the last time that we're going to make a beer?
Yeah.
So here it is.
Oh, nice. Let's see that.
So this is my beer, based on the lifting stones. It's called Mullán. You see at the bottom, right? Mullán. So that's based on the stone over in Inishmore. And it's a 6% beer. And I'll read the side of it. Named for the ancient Celtic tradition of stone lifting by the strong men of the northwestern Europe. The name Mullán comes from a beautiful red-pink stone perched on the island of Inishmore off Ireland's west coast. And to find out more, contact David Keohan, the modern Celtic stone lifter here, and you got a QR code. You can scan it into my socials and shit. That's crazy stuff. I got my own beer.
Crazy, man. Like, I'm gonna be like, I knew him back before he had his own beer, his own whiskey, his own TV show, his own documentaries, right?
Has to be done. So here it goes down the hatch. 6%, baby.
Is that an Irish red? Is that the style? What style of beer
is it? Is what they call it. They call it an extra special bitter, but it's not bitter tasting at all. It's actually really nice, kind of caramelly tasting. So like a Smithwick's, but kind of more of a caramel. It's really nice.
All right, yeah, I love a malty caramel flavored beer, like like a Marzen style. Oktoberfest is probably my favorite single style of beer. So it sounds similar to that, a kind of malt forward level.
Oh man. Oh, it's crazy. I mean, who'd have thought? I mean, they had it on draft in one of the places in town, so I went in.
Oh man,
it's called Tully's Bar, so they had it on draft. So I walked in, and I was like, "Can I get a pint of the Mullán there, please?" It's like, "Oh yeah, how'd you know that?" But I said, "Well, actually, now that you ask, it's based on me." So I told the barman all about it. So we had a pint together. Then he wouldn't charge me for it. Yeah, it was just so cool. What a really cool thing to happen.
That's nuts, man. Okay, so who's the brewery?
The brewery is the White Hag Brewery. So the White Hag Irish Brewing Company. They're a small little independent up in County Sligo, and they're all into Irish mythology and Irish history. So they're like, you're kind of becoming modern mythology now. They said to me, that sounds mad to me still, but they're like, no, you are. So we want to make a beer around the lifting stones. So they said, look, give me the name of a lifting stone that you think sounds cool. I said, the Mullán sounds awesome. So Like they have the pink on the
The
can
Mullán
because of the
extra
pink.
special. I love it, man. Oh,
Yeah,
that is.
man. It's
Can I get it?
incredible.
Can I get it
You know?
stateside, or is it only available?
Do you know
Where's
what?
it available at?
It's only available in Ireland. I mean, they haven't put it out anywhere else. They put it over to Britain, I think, and over to like to Holland and Belgium.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
not stateside.
I didn't figure it was going to be available stateside. So you're just adding reasons to the list why I need to get back to the home country.
You got to get your ass over here, 100%.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely need to do that. That's fantastic. Okay, so aside from your own beer, which still like that's mind blowing. Like I can't imagine going and sitting in a pub and being like, that's my beer on tap. Like, you know, like not one that you brewed yourself, but
Oh,
one that somebody brewed in your honor is fucking nuts, man. That's great. But you've done all sorts of other stuff. Like I know we talked last year, like, oh, it's gonna be a crazy year. So
yeah, man.
give me the high level, like what are the like craziest things that have happened this year?
Oh God. Well, I actually re-listened to our last podcast this morning, and it was like everything was just kind of like on the boil last year. It was like
Yeah.
it was just starting to come, you know.
Yeah.
We'd done the documentary, like we shot with 5 different documentary makers, hoping that we get someone that would take it on. So the good news is that RTE, which would be the biggest TV station in Ireland, they've agreed to fund a long form 1 hour documentary, and that was only greenlit about 2 weeks ago. So they're taking it on, and a company called Old Hall Films are doing
Man,
the.
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's launched that, man. Yeah, 100%. So like they'll be putting about $250,000 into this, like big production value. They want to make it like their kind of next flagship thing on RT. So like that's absolutely amazing, because I mean that'll be in every TV station, or every house in Ireland will have that. And they're also making like a little small independent film of it. So they want to release that in they're set the east coast of the United States and the UK and Scotland. So they're gonna release it like pretty much anywhere they can release it. But just the fact that it's actually happening, you know, I mean, you're making these small documentaries hoping it might happen, but now it fucking is happening. You know what I mean? So we've shot for we've done about 4 or 5 shoots already over the last year, but we finally got to go ahead. Like, you know, because I mean it's a big outlay of money, you know, and it's huge money to make these things. So like it's great that someone actually said, yeah, we want to do this. Let's go for it, you know. So I'm just so happy.
And what's the shoot schedule on it? Like how long are they going to follow you around? What's kind of the plan? Where are you going?
So we've already gone to up around the west, a lot around the west, lifting some of the stones over there, and we're trying to get out to a couple of the islands. I remember talking last time about High Island, Ardalan, the one that the monks lived on.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get out to that. So that's this year. And that just it's so hard. We tried all of last year to get out to that island. We just couldn't do it because the sea swell was so high. It needs perfect sea, perfect tide, and perfect weather to get out there, because it's an uninhabited island with no jetty. You have to get out as close as you can to the rocks and jump off, you know. So it needs perfect sea. So we tried 6 fucking times to get out.
You know, which is what the British Isles and Ireland are really known for, is their perfect weather and perfect seas, you know, perfect sea conditions. That's totally what they're known for up there.
Totally. And the West Coast, like, it's fucking 10 times worse. And the fact that this island is fucking here, and I'm down here in Ireland, so it's a 5.5 hour journey. So like I've traveled that road 5 or 6 times, and the 5 or 6 times I have to fucking travel and go home.
How did the monks, who was like, I want to know, like, what was the thought process for the first monk that was like, you know what, that fucking island way out there?
Yeah, do you know,
like how did they get
the way
out
I describe it to people is the way I describe it. The only way the monks used to go into the desert, they used to go to the desert in Jerusalem and all these places. They used to go to the desert to be more pious and more close to God, away from everything else. So we call these the deserts of the sea, because these are small little islands. So I mean, it's very, very hard to get to them. Obviously enough, I've tried. So they get to these islands and they just stay there, and like there's nobody comes out to them or can get to them because it's so inaccessible. So a lot of places in Ireland are like that, are called Dysert or Dysert, literally after desert, because they were the places that the monks used to go to be further away from like humanity and closer to God, you know, spiritually that way. So that's their thinking behind it. But I just can't wait to see this fucking place, you know.
Yeah,
I just can't wait to finally set foot on this island after so many fucking tries.
Are there still structures standing there? Is there still like a
yeah,
monastery there?
there's an old dry stone church,
Okay.
dry stone monastery, outdoor altar, carved crosses, and that large lifting stone that they used to lift. It's all there. I mean,
how much does that guy weigh? I mean, I know it's an estimate until you actually lay hands on it. Do you have any idea what you're getting yourself into? Or?
I'd say roughly 120 kilos, but it's perfectly spherical. It's like an atlas stone, you know.
Okay.
So that's a decent fucking lift. Because those atlas stones are, the roundedness of them makes them more difficult, because there's nowhere to grip.
Yeah. So I think you'll appreciate this. So I've started setting up. I've got an axe throwing range in my backyard now. So I actually took over my children's swing set in the dead of winter because I'm like, well, they're not using it, when it's 10 degrees outside. And on the recommendation of my therapist, he was like, I think you need an activity that's not a side hustle, that's not another business, that's not. He's like, I think you just need something that you do just for fun, right? And I was like, well, I've always wanted to do axe throwing, so I started doing that, and I like set up targets in the backyard. Well, that's like one of the easiest things to do is to get a big round, right? Like a big, you take a big cut of a tree, right? The stump of a tree, and you cut, 6 inches off of it, right? And so you've just got a big ass round. And I was trying to hang that off of my kid's swing set, and I was the only one there. And so I'm like getting down deep, and I'm bear hugging this fucking round, and I'm, I was deadlifting, and by the end of it, like my left bicep was like screaming at me just from holding the tension of, doing the bear hug, the lock grip like this as I'm got hooks in it, and I'm like trying to just lift it up high enough to like just to move the chain up one link, and I keep like doing a lift, moving the chain up one link, doing a lift, moving the chain up one link, because I'm just like propping it up on a step stool, right? Move it up 3-4 inches at a time. So I did like, I don't know, probably like 150 of these fucking deadlifts trying to get this log round hung, and I did it with three different rounds. By the time I got to the third one, I couldn't do it because it was too heavy and I was too smoked. I was just like, man, fucking hey, like I see what David's talking about with these things that like are just awkward, and it's probably I don't know. It's probably probably not even 100 kilos. Maybe it's 100 kilos. I don't know, but it's probably not even that heavy. But like for what you're used to, you'd be like, oh, this is no big thing. But it was just such a different demand. And like I did okay for a while, but man, by the end of it, I was like, I have a newfound appreciation. I woke up the next day and my adductors were really sore, like just from getting into that deep squat and trying to lap it, and like having to maintain tension in places I don't usually have to. So I was like, man, I can't wait to talk to David about this because he's gonna fucking laugh at me, be like, oh yeah, I told you, man, you got to work on them hips, boy.
Oh man, it's on the hips, and especially when you're getting down that deep with these picks, it's all hip strength. Like it's all hip strength, like you said, adductor strength. People think it's all back. Like some people do lift with poor form, and it is mainly back. But if you're lifting correctly, you're using your hips.
Well, that was the thing. I was kind of pissed at myself. Like I know better, but like by the time when you start getting tired and you start having things that hurt, you start doing things the wrong way. And so I started
adjusting the wrong way.
I started muscling some stuff, and then I started like trying to get it. I'm like, okay, my right bicep is fine. It's my left one that's bothering me. So I'm like, and of course I don't want to leave the thing half hung. So I'm like, I gotta finish it, So it was a whole thing. But like, yeah, I ended up tweaking my bicep and tweaking my right hip a little bit. Nothing that stopped me from lifting 2 days later. But it was just like I woke up the next morning and I was like, oh fuck, David would be laughing at me. He'd just be laughing at me.
Oh, man, it's the difference with I think it's the difference with gym strength and kind of like what's called farm strength. Like about farm strength. You're brought up with that. But it's there's a big difference in both, because like I've seen guys, one of the probably the most amazing one I saw, like I was speaking at the European Powerlifting Convention, which was held down in County Limerick, on a panel discussion. Myself, Dr. Eric Helms, and Dr. Conor Heffernan were on a panel discussion talking about ancient strength and Irish strength, and I was talking about the stone lifting, and we had a great chat actually. It was in front of about 1,000 people down in UL, mainly the European powerlifting competitors who were over for the weekend because they were lifting at the Europeans in Ireland. And I got up and I was speaking about lifting stones, and people just fell in love with it. They were like, we love lifting, obviously enough. That's what we do. We're power lifters. And we love lifting. We love the idea of the culture behind it. Because I was really speaking about the culture and the history of it. And they were like, okay, you got to stay around. Come out, have a few drinks with us tonight. and take us to one of these lifting stones tomorrow, will you? So I was like, okay, I can have a few drinks and take you to one of the lifting stones. It's like fucking sounds like
They're
a
like,
good day.
oh, don't threaten me with a good time, man. I'll throw back a few pints and go lift some heavy shit in the morning. That sounds great.
Oh no, that sounds terrible. So let's
No,
do that shit.
please don't.
So, oh no, I got to do two things I really enjoy. So went down. So I took these guys out, Jordan, right? Now you're talking guys at the top level, European wise, would have about 1,000 kg total, you know,
I
the
was,
three
I was
lift.
just gonna say these are guys that can lift 1,000 kilograms in a day without it
Yeah.
being a thing.
You know, you know what I mean? So a lot of these guys have over 1,000 kg totals. So I was taking them up to, because there's also women there as well. I said, look, I'll take you up to County Clare. It's only an hour and a half away. And you got the man's lifting stone and the woman's lifting stone in Faha, right? So I was taking them up, and we were on this little minibus, and it was like, so they're asking on the way up, like, how heavy is the man's stone? And I said, it's 162 kilos. And they were like, 162 kilos? I lift that with my dick. You know what I mean? 162.
Oh, see, here I'm thinking. When you say that, I'm like, that's a serious.
You know,
that's a serious pull, man.
It is. So these guys were like, oh, because they just thought of it in terms of weight.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. They're thinking of it in a uniform barbell, loaded evenly. You can grip you can wrap your hands around it easily. Get into your familiar position. Yeah, of course.
Ergonomic, equally weighted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Dry, the whole lot. So took these guys to the stone. We went down and they saw it and they're like, they're like, fuck, that's big. It's like, yeah, it is. It's a big lump of stone. You know, it's intimidating. You know what I mean? They're like, fuck. So we had 8 guys there, like I said, who probably 6 of them would have over 1,000 kg total. And 2 of them just broke the ground with the 162.
Under it.
That's all, you know. I got that stone up to my chest. And they kind of couldn't believe it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like, how the fuck can you do that? You know, look, I mean, these guys are fucking hench. I mean, they're huge, you know, really big.
You're no wilting flower yourself anymore, but
no, I mean, like, compared to these guys,
compared to like professional powerlifters, they're still like
powerlifters. These guys probably
this little dainty flower over here.
That's it. But it was like, it just showed the difference between specialist training, I suppose, really, because they're training specifically on bars and I'm training specifically on stones. So like, they were just amazed at, and it gave them a hell of a lot more respect for it, because when you're just mentioning it in terms of weight, they're like, that's ridiculous. I warm up heavier than that.
Yeah.
But then when you get to it and you see it and you see how intimidating it is, and you're sitting in the field and it's muddy and it's hard to get a grip on, then they're like, oh yeah, that's difficult, and that's actually really.
Are you cold, wet, slippery, and picking up an asymmetrical, unbalanced object when you're warming up? Because that's what we're about to do.
Because that's what it is, and there's no fucking warm up, you know. So you just go pick the thing up, and that's it. So it was just amazing to go out there with all these people and see then the level of respect that they got for it, and that they really want to come back and do it again this year. So they want me to go down and have a talk again, and maybe do a little tour with them the next day. Maybe take them to 3 or 4 different lifting stones, you know. And I've seen them training on stones as well at home, and it's like they got bitten by the bug. So look, that's to me, that's job done,
man. I gotta say, like, there is just something primal about, like, you know what, I'm gonna pick that fucking thing up. Like,
it's deep in the DNA. It's
fucking
rooted in it, you know.
Yeah, I do it with logs more so than stones, just because I don't have a lot of stones around here. But like, I've got all sorts of wood and stuff, and like, I mean, my son and I spent 8 hours this weekend clearing brush and stuff. We've got a little wooded area behind our fence that was all full of, felled branches and stuff and sticks and garbage and what have you, because it's by a railroad track. But we're like, we're gonna clear this out and turn this into the axe throwing range, because my wife wants our backyard back and the kids they want their swing set back. So I spent like
axes being thrown at them.
yeah, exactly. So I spent like 8 hours clearing this out, and it was just chopping and carrying wood and tossing it and picking up. And there's just something about that is like, there's something intrinsically rewarding about it. I feel like we're just hardwired to do that kind of. It just makes you feel good, and you're like, yeah, I can pick up that stump.
100%. It's deeply ingrained in who we are. Because that's what we had to do. And like, when I'm going to these islands and I'm meeting these men and they're talking to me about this kind of stuff, it's like, look, if we wanted to build a house, we had to build it ourselves out of stone. So I mean, we used to have to just stack stone. and build these clochons or these stone houses on the islands. If we wanted food, we had to go out in a currach and catch it, row on the sea. You know what I mean? If we wanted to cut the grass, we had to cut it with the sides. You know, so it was all. That's just who we are, who we were forever up until very fucking recently. You know, so like I said, that's deep in the marrow of who we are as a people. So when you start doing that kind of work, you kind of go, oh yeah, I remember this. Or something in me remembers this. Yeah, man, definitely.
Yeah, there's that interesting through line. Okay, so you got the big documentary, which that's so cool, man. I'm really stoked for you. You got your own beer. What else has gone on? I've seen you make appearances on a few shows. Like you've done all sorts of cool stuff this last year, and I know you had all sorts of other stuff like we'll say on the on the burner, right on the back burner, waiting to see if it came to a boil.
Yeah, man. So the we were talking about I was writing the book. So the book has now been
about the book, yeah.
So the book has now been written, and I just signed a contract 2 months ago with Bloomsbury Publishing, which is worldwide publishing.
Yeah.
Like Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling is in Bloomsbury.
I know. I know that publisher. That's the Harry Potter series.
If it's good enough for J.K. Rowling, it's good enough for me. And we signed that contract, so that's a done deal. So we just have to get that published over the next 3 to 6 months. And then it said that'll be sent out to every English-speaking country in the world, you know?
Okay, so sign me up for an advanced copy. I would request an autographed original if possible. You send me an invoice and I'll pay it. 100%. But I would love to see that, man. I'm so excited.
I'm so pumped. I can't believe it. I mean, that's just to have it in my hand and say, look, I wrote that, and you've done all the research. You wrote the book yourself.
If you want to go really like full on egomaniac, like you could pour a pint of your own beer, sit down and read your own book, and then put one of your own documentaries on the telly while you're
But stroking yourself, saying yes.
I know that's not exactly your style, but that'd be.
Man, that's not me. But it's fucking mad.
That'd be kind of hilarious.
It is an option. Oh, for fuck's sake, who'd ever thought? So I mean, I'm just amazed that because we have to send it off to them and we have to send it off to publishers and they have to read it first and then agree with it. But they were like, no, really, really happy with this. We're delighted to take you on. And again, they signed the contract. That's done, and then it's just a matter of just getting that publishing off and doing book signings and book tours, and that's just amazing. Like that's happened as well. So I mean, it's not again these things have been signed, so they're happening. They're not released yet. But it's after happening now, as opposed to just talking about it maybe happening last year. So I'm actually in the process of writing the second book now at the moment. Like the second book is just really a continuation of what's been going on. So like hopefully like if that goes well, we can release the second one then as well and just keep it going because I mean it just keeps building and building and building,
Yeah, dude. So you got to tell me about your writing process a little bit. Like having written all sorts of short form stuff, but I have never had the courage to sit down and actually write a book. Like how do you go about that? What does your process look like for actually writing a book? Like as somebody that wasn't not a trained professional author, right? But you're you're passionate about this subject. Like how do you get into writing your first book?
So remember I was on a podcast with Blind By, and Blind By would be, I was telling you about that last time, he'd be one of the best known podcasters probably in Europe. And just so happens he's an Irishman, but he's also a writer, a very, very well published writer.
Yeah.
And so he was like, we were on the podcast. He just started talking. Look, I'm going to give you some advice. I know you're writing at the moment, so I'm going to give you some advice about writing. Don't think of it as the finished product ever. Don't ever think about it as that. Like you have to finish it. Here it is. You have to finish it here. Literally, like training for kettlebell sport or like training for anything. Take it just in steps, like ladder steps. Just think about writing the next page or the next chapter. Have an ultimate goal, but never even think about it. Like climbing a mountain, you don't think about the peak; you think about the process.
Yeah.
So it's all about the process.
You're 17 kilometers a day, or whatever the march was.
And you just do it. Antarctic. And when something's inside you and you're so passionate about it, you just want to express it. So he said, look, what you do is make sure when you go to these stones or you're talking to these people that bring your phone with you and just maybe even have it on and listen to people and. Talking to it or write down what you felt at the moment, because all that stuff will grab people. It's that emotion people respond to, Yeah. People respond to passion, respond to emotion because we all feel it. So it's like, right, get that passion down on the paper and that's what will sell it for you. So that's what I've done. I went to all these places and I talked to all these people and I had the phone with me and I had my little notebook with me and just like what you were feeling at the day, even like what was the weather like, what did the wind feel like on your face, all these little things. So then the process of actually writing, I have the notebooks and pen, old school. And so I'll notebook and pen it first. So I get up in the morning, Jordan, because it's my favorite time of the day. I'm awake at 4 o'clock, 4:30 every day.
Yeah, you're an early bird.
I'm an early riser, always was.
We're on the opposite ends of the spectrum. I'm the guy that'll be texting you at 2 a.m, and you'll be the guy that's like, I'm getting up in 2 hours.
That's it, yeah, I'm getting up. So I get up in the morning, I'll do my stretching for about half an hour, and then I'll put the coffee on. And from about maybe 5 o'clock until 7 o'clock, I'll write for 2 hours. Pretty much 3 to 4 mornings a week.
Nice.
And I absolutely love it now. I love it. I look forward to it. I go to bed early specifically to get up and do it, because you're just processing what you felt. You know what I mean? You're putting what you felt on the paper, you know? And it's wonderful to revisit that and remember what that felt like. And then stuff that starts coming to you, and it just starts flowing. And then it's like, shit, that's 2 hours already. Shit, I got to go to work, and I don't want to go to work. I want to keep going with this, you know? But it just happens then, because I think that it's like you're someone from fucking somewhere else or something. It's like you're just like a lightning rod for stuff, and it's just coming through you. So I just love the writing process now, which I never thought I would before, because like I said, it's intimidating. It's an empty book, you know.
It's an empty page. Yeah, that's always the scariest part of writing, right? Is staring at an empty page, right? Like,
but then it's just make a start, and once you make the start, the rest will follow, and it has, and it really, really has. And like 70, I think it's 75,000 words for the first book, and I'm about that now for the second one as well. So
that's incredible. So is it like a collection of short stories about like each of these stones that you go discover, or what is the
pretty much. It started off as just as that. So it's like every stone has the story, but like every story has its parts. So it's like, first of all, it's the research, and like you're going through Dukas, and these kids 100 years ago wrote these stories dictated by their parents.
Yeah.
You're sifting through that for the nuggets of truth, through the arms and legs that Irish people love to put onto stories. Then you're oh man, it's wonderful, you know.
I've never heard it described that way before. That's why I laugh. I'm not lying. I'm just giving the story legs. That's all.
I'm just embellishing it. That's
yeah. I'm just giving
never let the truth get in the way of a good story. That's the way we are here. But it's just finding that, and then GPSing the place, and then driving to the place and describing the actual drive, or the surroundings and the scenery, which is just going up the west and stuff. I've been lucky enough I've been blessed that I've driven through pretty much most of Europe, Scandinavia, Australia. And the nicest drive I think I was ever on was driving from Galway to County Mayo in Ireland, which I was never on before, because I've never gone up that far west. But I'm like, this is like, it's like Lord of the Rings stuff. It's like, look at this. I can't believe this is here. I can't believe I've never seen it before. You know, how come I never knew about this place? You know, invers and islands and islets and coast and lakes and mountains, and totally unspoiled, not a house in sight. I'm like, this place is fucking magic. You know, and then you're literally like, because I love landscape painting, as you can tell as well, you're going around with your jaw on the ground going, I can't believe the beauty of this place. So like you've all that, then you're meeting the locals, and some of these people are fucking, just the characters are incredible. You're meeting these guys who are poets and shanachis and local legends, and some people who can't speak English, you can only speak Irish. And you're getting all their stories of long ago, of their parents and grandparents, when it was a totally different time here, you know, where mythology and stuff and, you know, folklore kind of intertwine with day-to-day life. And you get in touch with all that through meeting these people. And then you're going to find the fucking stone, you're going to lift it, and the crowds you gather along the way, the stories you get from them. And every stone has its own chapter and story like that. Some of them are in touch with mythology, Fionn McCool, Cuchulainn. And it's been an emotional kind of eye-opening experience to me as well, what it means to be an Irish person, you know, because it's got me in contact with who I am as an Irish person so much more than anything I've ever done in my life, you know. I consider this, it's not just a book about stone lifting, it's a book about culture, like Irish culture in general, really now. It's kind of took that through the lens of stone lifting, it's become something else, you know.
What's the title of the book?
The title is the Wind Under It. So I'm going free. So the wind under it. So that's a lovely poetic expression of the wind under it. Getting the wind under the stone is one of the ways of lifting it.
Yeah.
And a lot of these stones in the West is literally just to get the gwe fui. It's just to pick it up off the ground, even like an inch or 2 inches.
Gwe fee, is that how you say it?
Gwe fui, the gwe fui, yeah, the wind under.
Gwe fee. Okay.
Gwe fui, yeah, it's lovely. So it's a lovely Irish or Gaelic expression of stone lifting. So we call it the wind under, unearthing a lost culture. So that's the plan. So the very first chapter and the very last chapter are about the original find of the very first stone, the Inishmore stone, and all the Limo Flaherty and the whole story behind it and going to it. No one gave a fuck. It was the very first stone lift found, and then going back full circle, the last chapter, going back with like 4 documentary teams and 100 islanders and all the people who lived over there and the Limo Flaherty Society and going back to lift the stones. So it was like first chapter, last chapter, whole full circle. So it was a lovely way to start and finish the book. And then I'm going from there, then taking that and kind of how far it's gone. Then the next book has kind of gone up another level again. So just describing that and how that feels and stuff. But yeah, man, it's been just an amazing kind of a roller coaster journey, you know. And it's I think it comes across well. You know, I went back into it a good few times, and I'm quite happy with the way it sounds now. You know,
that's fantastic. And this is taking you kind of all over the world now. You're like you're going beyond. You're going beyond your little island. You know, you've gone. I mean, not that there's, like you said, there's still all sorts of amazing unexplored places, even on your little, even on your little island of Ireland, right? But there's this whole great big world, and you've gotten to Australia, you've gotten all over there. So where are you going next, right? Are you sticking in Europe, or are you thinking, are you going global? Like what's next for exploring and stone lifting and all the things you're doing?
Yeah, so like I'm heading over to the United States actually in June. I'm coming over to Boston.
Okay.
So I'm coming to Boston in June. I think it's the 21st, that weekend in June. And we're doing there's the No Fame Games, the Celtic Games over there. Yeah. So I'm being brought over as like a stone lifting, do a bit of judging, show people the stone lifting triad station. And I'll also be doing a workshop in one of the bigger gyms in Boston, a stone lifting workshop, and pretty much like a chat and a seminar just about Irish stone lifting in general. And then we're going to the Boston Cultural Centre, Arts and Cultural Centre, to inaugurate a lifting stone, to put a brand new lifting stone there, have me be the first person to lift it, and then forever, then that'll be the lifting stone of the area, you know. So that's an amazing thing to do as well.
What an honor, man.
Oh man, unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. So it's going to be a pretty intense weekend. It'll be non-stop, but it'll be just an incredible experience. Because, like, you know, Boston being such an Irish part of the States.
Yeah.
Like, you know, a lot of people there were from here, you know, who went into Jewry, into exile because they had to. So it's just reconnecting the people again through strength, which I think is a beautiful thing to do. So that's happening in June. I'm really looking forward to that. That's the next big thing, I suppose.
That's fantastic.
Lots of local stuff in Ireland. Doing lots of festivals here. Lots of talks. I'm going to colleges. I'm going to seminars, panel discussions. I'm going over to the islands again to meet the islanders and the Nemo Flaherty people. I'm getting in contact with people with Gaelic Irish speaking festivals and being a part of that. And summer's just going to be absolutely hectic. Because like everybody wants to be a part of it now. You know. Yeah. Everyone wants to get involved with it because it's beautiful, it's simple, it's beautiful, but it's a part of who we were, and it's great that it's getting that much recognition.
Yeah, well, so you're also a musician and an artist, right? You have an artist's soul, you know, which is why which is why I'm glad you've taken to writing, because that tracks to me the way you described it. Actually, like I was like, oh yeah, of course that suits him, because he's got his magic hour. He wakes up early. He gets his time for collect his thoughts. He gets his blood flowing, and then he gets his coffee, and then he sits down and he gets into his like artistic creative space, and that's probably like just fuel for the soul for you. Great. You know, like I can just totally see how that would totally track with you. Do you find an opportunity to connect musically with people while you're traveling as well?
Man. Yeah. We had an amazing experience. We went over to the island of Inishmaan on a stone lifting tour. I organized a stone lifting tour to Inishmaan, and I didn't advertise it. I only put it like about 3 or 4 times online because I knew the documentary crew were coming and they wanted to keep it at, you know, a low enough number, so it wasn't going to be too rowdy. Yeah. So we went over, and even with not advertising it at all, like there ended up being 20 people came over to the island on the ferries. So we went over, we had a fantastic day lifting, we lifted all the stones, and the lads who came over were, getting fierce emotional, and they were loving the whole thing. And then we said, we'll go back and we stay in Carna, which is in West Galway. So back from the islands again. We said, we go back to Carna in West Galway and we stay there for the night and we have a session. So I've been learning the Irish tenor banjo the last couple of years, but really got into it over the last like 6 to 8 months as well. So we're learning all the traditional Irish reels and jigs. And so I said, fuck it up, we'll bring it up and we'll go to the local pub and we'll see what happens. So some of the boys, as Irish men are, a lot of the lads are musicians anyway. So some lads had the bowrons, traditional drums. Some lads had like even just guitars, and I had the banjo. So we walk into this tiny little bar in Carna. Now you're talking right out on the west coast of Galway. So like the nearest village could be maybe 15, 20 miles away. So it's a very isolated village, very old history there, very old. And the main language spoken there is Irish. So we walk into this Irish speaking bar. Diva Cardia, Constantoshiv. We walk in, all of us, like 18 lads, big Irish stone lifters, guitars and fucking bowrons and banjo cases and stuff. And at first,
like, these guys here to play a song or fuck us up? I'm not quite sure
what are these guys coming in? What are these guys going to do? Who the fuck are you? Tiny little bar, real local. But we went up to the barman, introduced ourselves, and he's like, I fucking saw you. He said, you're the guy on the telly. I said, yeah, that's me. I saw you on the fucking telly. He said, but the stone lifting. Yep. So then you were straight in. So he's like, oh, come on, I called you. Like, this is David Keohan, and he does the stone lifting. So then we were in. We were in. And even so, like, some of the guys there just had cards, because like there's not much cash being used around there anymore. So cards lately, isn't it? So they went up and like the barman was like, we don't take cards, we only take cash. So the lads were like, where's the nearest bank machine? Bank machine? He said, you're in the fucking village in the west of Ireland. There's no such fucking thing as a bank machine. So like he said, you're gonna have to go maybe about 40 minutes drive and come back. Oh, the lads were like, oh, for fuck's sake. But he was like, do you know what I'll do? He said, I'll give you 50 quid each out the bar, out the till. You spend that now and come back and pay me tomorrow. Isn't that amazing? Like, I mean, you won't get that anywhere. So he gave it like 6 to the lads, 50 quid each. I said, look, spend it tonight, give it back to me tomorrow. So we just started playing the session, then we started playing music. So we started singing, and I'd learned some Irish sean-nós, which is old Irish, sang in the Irish language, unaccompanied music. So very, very ancient songs. Good to go all the way back hundreds of years, sometimes thousands of years. So I'd learned the sean-nós song, and I was really nervous about singing it because, it's in my native language. I'd never sang in my native language before, not in front of people anyway. So, and I'm in an Irish-speaking pub in an Irish-speaking village. But I went up and I said, look, I explained what I was going to do. I said, look, I've been singing my whole life in the English language. I never sang in Oswego in Irish before. So if you just bear with me. So I sang, and turns out it was a Carna song. I didn't know that. It was a song that was written in Carna. So it's called Eleanor Naroon. So I just sang that. And Sean came up, who'd be the Shanachie kind of poet and storyteller. He came up and we done the what they call windaws, so like the hand holding when you're singing the song. And then everyone in the bar knew it because it was a Carna song. So we were all singing it in Irish. Oh man, it was just amazing. It was just incredible. That's beautiful. I think it was kind of one of my favorite moments of the year, including everything, including stone lifting. I loved that. It was like I kind of regained a piece of my soul, I think, really,
Did you know that when you hold hands with someone while you sing a song with them, that your heartbeats actually sync up over the course of singing the song?
I did not know that. I know the reason that the Irish done it was there was a couple of reasons. One of it was emotional support, and two, it was if you sang beautifully enough that the fairies would come and take you away. So it's to hold you in place, so you don't get taken by the fairies when you're singing.
Oh, okay. So, you gotta weigh yourselves down.
Yeah. So no, that was a beautiful moment. It was really. And then we went off and we played. Oh man, we started playing a session then. And we were, I was playing all the reels, and the lads were playing away in the powerlons, and it was just a great atmosphere. And then one of the guys there, he was a sean-nós dancer, a guy called Garrod O'Duvon, who'd be one of the best sean-nós dancers in the world, actually. He just happened to be in the bar that night. So I'm in the middle of playing this fucking reel, and this guy just gets up and starts dancing. It's like, this shit don't happen. You know what I mean? This just doesn't happen, But we became a part of the whole thing then. It was just absolutely beautiful, And then we went back and we got absolutely fucking pissed back in the house on whiskey. I was never sick the next day in my life, ever. We went back and we drank a bottle of whiskey, I think, then between about 3 of us. And the next morning, the documentary team were all there. So the next morning, they were like, we want to do kind of a post-mortem of the day with you. So we meet you at 10 o'clock the next day down at this bridge. And it was like, I was absolutely dying of a hangover. I was like, lads, I can't meet you. You have to meet us. We have to do this. You're for RT. So I'm literally there in bed, and I'm like, Johnny, you're so sick, you can barely open one eye. You're like, I'm
Yeah.
fucking dead. Get
I,
up, get up.
I haven't been there off the whiskey in quite a while, but
Man,
I know the feeling, right? Like
I mean,
I did
it's
that a
been years.
couple of weeks ago where I overdid it. I overdid it at a hockey party, and I was like, oh shit, I remember now why I don't drink that
Yes.
much whiskey in one sitting anymore. I'm too fucking old for that shit.
I was never as bad. I got up, I got sick, went out to get into the car, got sick, drove the car about 10 fucking minutes down the road, got sick, got
Oh
to this
man.
bridge where I was meeting the lads, I was just shivering. I was doing everything like that in the car, just dying. So they came over to the cameras, they were like, look at the fucking state of you. I said, I know, what am I going to do? Like, so like, here's some Dior, like, here's some water, slap across the face, then get up there and give a nice little jolly interview about what happened the day before. Oh man. And do you know what happened? Oh no! And they're so going to put this in the fucking documentary. They're like, we want to get some emotion out of you now, right? I was like, I'm not a fucking actor. I was like, no, we'd love to get some emotion out of you. So literally, they were like, he turned the camera on. He said, "What did it mean to you yesterday?" I just started fucking crying. I started crying, weeping because I was just so A, I was hungover, and B, totally emotionally fucking distraught after making just an amazing day and night. But I just started bawling. Like it just all came out. So they were delighted. Oh, that was fantastic. I was like, oh, please don't put that in the fucking documentary. Oh, fuck, we are. That's brilliant. That's
Got it.
gold. Like, oh, look,
That's the good stuff, man. That's the good stuff. It's the unvarnished raw
that's it.
connection, right? Like
Pure raw.
that's the good stuff right there, man. That's awesome.
So just know when you see it, I was absolutely dying of a hangover. So you'll know when you see me crying on the documentary. Yeah, oh, he was so pissed off of whiskey that day.
Oh, that's fantastic. Oh man, I love that. I love that so much. I keep having this like vision of you being like the Irish Anthony Bourdain, just like driving around to like going, the points unknown. That you remember that series where he
Yeah,
would just travel
yeah.
around and like he would connect with different cultures over food and stuff. Like I could
That's
see
it.
you just being like you're just going all over the world, like
Oh man,
telling stories, lifting stones, singing music, eating. Like I don't know. I feel like I could see you
it's
totally doing
made
that.
for it. It's made for it. I mean, I was talking to Will, who's the director, and he's like, Dave, once this gets made, he said, this is just the start. It isn't the end of it. I can see a load of stuff he said happening with this. Once this gets made, people see it. There's going to be people knocking your door all over the place. So look, it's just the fact that it's going to open a hell of a lot of doors for me, And please God, I'll be able to get out of this job I'm in. That's the idea. Because I applied for, and I'm going to actually do a PhD on this. I'm going to write a dissertation and do a full PhD on stone lifting because I was talking to Dr. Conor Heffernan and another doctor who said they'd be my supervisors. And I have like the Bachelor of Arts through art history anyway. So it's like, why don't you fucking, because Brian by said, why don't you do a PhD on this? Did you have all the fucking work done? You've written a book, that's your thesis. So just fucking shift some stuff around,
Yeah, yeah.
pay the money and get the fucking bit of paper. I was like,
Yeah,
I never even thought about that.
Defend the thesis, and I mean,
That's it.
you have to do PhD defense in Ireland? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's an
Yeah.
American
Oh,
thing.
you do. Yeah. You do.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You do. So just defend it then in front of a few people and please God, it's like Dr. fucking Indiana Stones.
I think the defending will be pretty easy for you. You just go in and you'll be like, I defend my thesis. You cross your arms, you look fucking big, and they're like, you're like challenge me on this, and they'll be like,
I
no,
brought the culture back, motherfuckers. What are you going to
no,
do?
no, you're good. You're good. You're looking pretty yoked. You're looking pretty
Give
yoked,
me
man.
that fucking
I see the
thesis.
videos on your Insta. You're looking stacked. You're looking big and strong. What are you weighing these days? What and how are you intentionally adding mass, or is it just happening by virtue of all the lifting you're doing?
It's a bit of both. I'm deliberately eating more. I'm doing a lot. You can see my forearms are after getting pretty big. I'm doing a hell of a lot of grip strength work, which really, really helps. So anybody who is into stone lifting, get into your grip strength work. It really helps. Because that's where the powerlifting guys were having the problem lifting the stones. They're plenty strong enough, but they just couldn't grip.
They're used to straps. They're used to
So
straps and hooks, and
they're used to straps, used to assists, exactly. Whereas, you can't be just a pure, grip strength just to get the grip on that stone. So that's really been helping. But yeah, to put on a lot of mass. I haven't weighed myself in 12 months. I don't really care what I weigh anymore. I'd say I'm definitely over the 100 kilo mark now at this stage. But just eating more, eating healthier,
yeah.
and lifting heavier and heavier because these stones aren't getting any lighter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Everyone
was
I
just gonna
found.
say, like at a certain point, people are like, oh, you think you can lift this one? Like at a certain, they're it's just
Oh,
it's just
these Irish lifting
up
stones.
and to the right on intensity, right? Like it kind of has to be that way.
These Irish lifting stones are fucking massive. I mean, there's none of them. I mean, I'm finding all these new ones. I mean, I'm up around. I think we're at 48 now. I'm actually starting to lose count. I think it's 48 or 49. The last time we were talking was 30 something. I think so
Yeah.
we're at 48.
Well,
So
yeah,
it's just
you anticipated one of my questions. I was going to say, like, is Ireland fully discovered yet, or like,
not at all, not at
at
all.
what point do you feel like it's fully discovered? But apparently,
Never,
they just keep
never.
finding more.
Never, because like I think this really was in every village in Ireland.
It
At
was the
one point.
CrossFit of Ireland back in the
It
whatever
was, man.
the
It was the thing.
1500s.
It was the thing. So it was the thing. So all you got to do is find the stories, because the stories are the important thing. Other than that, it's just a stone by itself in the field. Even though it might look like a lifting stone, it's in the right area. But and if the story isn't attached to it, it's just a stone.
It's
So
just a stone. Yeah, it could
yeah,
just be a marker on a farmer's property for
it
their
could be a
property
mark.
line.
Exactly. So it's the story. It's the story is the thing. But I mean, like I said, at 48 now, in 2.5 years, that's some fucking resume already, and more just keep happening. I mean, I just got contacted last weekend about another one or two, and now it's not just me doing it, Jordan. There's boys. You've like Andy Downs down in Limerick. You've Martin Gallagher up in Donegal, up the north, up in Monaghan. So these boys are going like, now I can send these guys like fucking Mission Impossible. I can say, look, lads, this is in your area. Do you mind
Yeah,
going down and have a look at that? Something you're free? Yeah, I'll head down the weekend. It's only 40 minutes from me. Rather than me driving like 3 hours and 3 hours back
yeah,
on spec.
yeah.
These guys will do it, or especially up in Donegal, which is like a 5 or 6 hour drive. I can say to Martin, hey, Martin, this is in Guido or it's in here. Will you have a look? Yeah, sure. I'll go down the weekend. And they're fully invested. They absolutely love it. So now there's guys going doing it, I mean, without, like, they might go find their own stories and go do it. So it's like, it's back now. It's back now. It's not just me anymore going off with a story in my back pocket. There's men going and women going literally looking for these in their own areas and then sending me on videos that they found it. So
And
it's
when you find a new one, do they then tell you like, yeah, I got a good
oh
one
yeah,
here, and then you
oh yeah,
plan a trip and you get together, like the whole crew gets
oh yeah,
together and goes and lifts it together?
yeah, 100%. So like the boys are like they found one up in County Louth the last weekend. So it's like, yeah, we're going to make a trip up now and see that in the next couple of weeks. I went and found one myself up in County Galway. Galway's the hotbed for it. At least a third of the stones in the whole of Ireland are in Galway. Galway seems to be the place it was really, really popular in, just purely because the landscape is so fucking stony over there anyway.
I was
But
just gonna say, is that just virtue of there being more stones there? That was
it,
the question.
virtually there being being more stones there, and B, it's just another stone in the field of stones when people are clearing roads or they're clearing for
Mm,
agriculture. Like it's,
yeah,
it's generally left alone because it's just another stone, whereas they stand out over the east because it's more arable land. It's more fertile land. So if a stone is in the way, it generally just gets chucked out of the way, or
yeah,
thrown over a
yeah.
fence or broken up and put into the road itself. But I found some great ones over the past year, especially up the west, and they're all, I mean, they're all fucking huge. They're
Yeah,
huge. I mean, man, what the fuck are they eating? I mean, everything is like 177,
Oh my God.
210, 190, 182. It's like these men were fucking built different. It's just different. There's
That's
nothing there 150. I mean, 150 would feel easy now. Like 150, 160, that's well manageable up the chest. But they're not. They're all heavier and they're all really awkward. It's like, and these guys without any specific training were just
so.
animals,
I just
absolute
want to
animals.
I just want to translate that real quick for our American audience. Like you just said, 150 kilo stone, which is roughly 330 pounds. Like
Yeah,
that would be easy. Like just to pick
that's
this up.
easy.
That's an easy one. I'm gonna take 300 pounds up off the ground, asymmetrical in my boots and my in my jeans, and I'm gonna take it up to my chest, and that's an easy Sunday
That's,
lift.
that's an easy lift. That's an easy lift now. Like we went over to the Danish Manstone, the graveyard stone was 153, and it came up like I was picking up a football. It was like that was easy, and it felt easy. It felt like I could do reps with it. Um,
Wow.
whereas these
So
guys,
what are you doing for training then? Like, so is it literally just stone lifting, stretching? Like, I know you do your daily stretching. I know you're like, that's almost religious for you. Like that you
yeah, yeah.
stretch every morning for 30 minutes. Um, are you doing anything other than specifically lifting stones, or are you really just focused on? Because you mentioned grip work, and I'm not sure if that's grip work with stones or like. Just tell me a little bit about.
Yeah, so
We'll give some people
my
some actual
training.
training insight here.
Sure. So like say Monday I do my heavy training. So that will be specific, what I call stone deadlift. So it's literally just picking up heavy stone from the ground to the waist to lap, and building that up in a linear deadlift fashion. So it's up around 190, 200 kilos now. Stacking kettlebells on this flat stone I have. So, but you're getting down like super deficit deadlift mode, stone lifting mode. Yeah. So it specifically helps that initial drive from the floor.
When you're in full depth
full
and having to be able to generate power from your full
depth. Exactly. Yeah. You know, so that's where like the mobility comes in handy, because then you can get down lower in the squat, so you can pump up out of it, as opposed to just being stuck here and having to like try and drive and generate power. You can get under it and pump up. So that really helps. The mobility in the hips really helps with that. So that's Monday. So that's heavy. That could be only 10 to 15 lifts. And at that, you're absolutely spent. You know, you're spent after it. It's serious. Totally smoked, you know. And you get to your last 2 or 3 lifts, and you're sometimes you might not be able to do the last 2 or 3. You're absolutely fried. But it is heavy. Like it's like a really super heavy deadlift day. Then when I get tired from that, I work on a bit of upper body and shoulders with kettlebell presses. I do lots of kettlebell presses. Start off with 28s, build up to 36s and 42s. So just strict pressing. 28s, lots and lots of shoulder work. That really helps again with grip, with back. I do lots of stone rows. So I get my stone and just roll the chest, keep the body flat, keep the knees, don't bend the knees, just use the lats and just pull. So lots of stone rows with
and you're in a position, you're unsupported, I'm assuming, so having to keep tension throughout your core to protect the spine the whole way, right? Like, so that's a core exercise too, as much as it's it's obviously an upper back and a pull exercise, but that core stability, the ability to resist rotational force and those shifts in the stone, because I think that was one of the things that it didn't surprise me, but it's still one of those, like, when you feel it, like when I was doing that shit with the logs and stuff, like if you moved a little bit and it's asymmetrical, suddenly you're getting a force that's trying to pull you to the left or to the right or whatever, and you're like
trying to get that back,
having to have that ability to like anti-rotational tension, like resist something that's trying to pull you out of alignment. Like that was I knew it was going to happen, but it would still surprise me.
It's very surprising, isn't it? It's very surprising when it does happen. The amount of force it generates through the body. So like I said, fighting that back, it's wonderful training. So that'll be a Monday. On a Wednesday, our friend comes over. Every Wednesday, religiously, we train at the back. In the pissings of rain here in Ireland, that has been for the whole of the Irish winter, we train kettlebells. And he's a long-distance ultra runner, Peter. Okay. So we train specifically Bulgarian split squats. All, like, for about maybe 20 minutes to half an hour. And
right.
it's
what the fuck is wrong with Bulgarian people? Why do they squat like that? That's
I don't know, man. I think I'm a masochist because I'm loving this exercise lately. It's like this is really getting my legs strong. It is one of my
favorite. It's a love-hate thing. It is one of my favorite exercises to prescribe and one of my least favorite exercises to do, which means I'm an asshole as a coach. But like,
do what I say, don't do what I do. But but I'm getting that depth. Like you're getting right down to the depth of the split squat. You're getting a lovely stretch in the front of the hip. You're getting a lovely strength in the back of the hip. And then you're pushing through that. You're building those weights. You're doing that maybe 10, 15 reps per side, going at it again, building the weights up. So now we're at.
Are you doing weights below you where you're gripping something, or are you putting it on your back?
So two kettlebells down, held down like this suitcase style.
Okay.
So it's totally below you. So like there's nothing coming. It's you're just using your legs to get those things up. So doing a lot of those,
and you're getting that grip training too, which totally
and grip training
for what you're doing.
So like we're now lifting the 42 and the 48 kilo kettlebell doing that. So we're going good with that. You know what I mean? We're going good with that. Getting sets of 5, sets of 6. Yeah. Each leg we do maybe 6, 7, 8. Now we're at 8 sets. So building that leg strength and endurance. And he said, David, my running is fucking through the roof. He said.
Yeah,
he does a lot of mountain running.
You're building those shock absorbers for him for all that pounding that he's taken as an ultra distance runner. That's one of those things a lot of ultra distance runners don't.
He does ultra distance mountain running, so he's totally fucking masochist altogether. But he said, "I'm on my uphills and downhills, man." He said, "I've never felt stronger." And he's winning races, big international races. They're all asking him what you're doing. You're asking him what kind of training you're doing. He said, "I'm training Irish yoga." He always calls it Irish yoga. He's from the Czech Republic. He's like, "I do Irish yoga." So what's Irish yoga? I'm not telling you. He said. So he doesn't put up anything online. we just train at the back, and we train Bulgarian split squats, heavy kettlebell swings, just really, and we do a lot of hack squats, the old school bronze era hack squats, with the kettlebell behind the back. So it's purely just quads, deep knee bend strength, quad strength, ankle strength. So take a lot of my stuff from like George Hackenschmidt and these guys as well. And they're not new in the world. And these guys were just amazing athletes, and their jump strength and their leg strength was incredible. Even up to the age of fucking 17, 80, you could see George Hackenschmidt jumping over chairs and stuff.
Yeah.
Just because he used to do the hack squats a lot. 50-kilo hack squats for sets of fucking 20 or 30.
That's why they're named after him.
That's it, man. You know what I mean? So we do a lot of that stuff. So all like Wednesday's leg day, and it's a bastard because on a Thursday then you're like toilet seats and stairs aren't your friends, you're in bits after it. But it's really, really helping. And then on a Friday, I'll do a lot of grip strength work.
Like, David, why are you moving so slow? You hurt? No, I just trained leg yesterday.
Oh man, yeah, it's like, I'm like, but I mean, when we train legs, we really fucking train them. It's horrendously fucking horrible. You know what I mean? He'd always texting me on a Thursday. He said, "You're some fucking bastard." I said, "I know I am, yeah." But aren't you getting better? Yes, I'm looking forward to next week already.
Yeah.
So exactly. Then grip strength on Friday.
You're an asshole. When do we do it again?
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. And then like a bit of light grip strength stuff and a bit more shoulder stuff on Friday because I've done all my legs and back stuff Monday and Wednesday. So that'll be my training week. And I might go out the weekends and out just do some natural stuff out in the beach.
And are you doing any like cardio or anything on your in between days just to keep your recovery up, or is there anything? Are you just like, my CNS needs the rest?
So what we do is like on the Wednesday we'll do a 10-minute to 15-minute non-stop kettlebell workout. So like at the very end of the set, we grab a 20-kilo kettlebell each, and I'll just say swings, and we'll do swings, one arm swings, snatch, long cycle press, back down around the body, halos, and we'll just keep that going for 10, 15 minutes. So like pretty much just like a high intensity kettlebell workout for 15 minutes with different exercises. And that really gets tough and blowing at the end. But like I said, it keeps the heart and lungs healthy, Yeah. So that's the Wednesday. So like Wednesday is a good intense workout. So I do need a day off Thursday, a good bit of stretching Thursday morning. Nice. And then like some light work Friday, like it's like grip strength work and stuff. But yeah, man, that's the training. It's going really well. And I'm 46 years old now in June. So please God, I've never felt stronger in my life. And hopefully can kind of keep going and get these documentaries shot and maybe relax a little bit more after that.
I'm so excited for you, man. I love these conversations. I look forward to it every time. The year always goes by fast, and I always look forward to it. And I'm like, shit, it's time for my chin wag with David. Like, it's one of the things I look forward to every St. Pat. It's honestly it's my favorite St. Patrick's Day tradition now, honestly, even more so than my Guinness and my corned beef and cabbage. So I really appreciate it. I've got one more question for you, and then I've got to hop because it's 10 a.m. here in the States, and I actually have to get to work. So is there any like Moby Dick stone for you? Is there any one stone that you're like, oh man, if I can either unearth that one, find that one, or even if you found it and you just like, I need to lift that one. Like, is there one that you're chasing? Is there your Moby Dick stone that you're chasing? I see you're nodding vigorously for those on audio.
There is. The stone, well, first of all, the one on High Island is the one that I want to get to see more than anything else. And it's not even the stone itself, it's the actual island, it's the island itself. It's the energy I'm going to get from that place. So that one definitely, and to lift, it would be the Turk stone. Again, on a small little island, again, tough to get to. But I tried to lift that stone. It was one of the first ones I tried to lift on the start of the journey 2 years ago. It's 207 kilos.
That one's over 200 kilos, right? It was
going
way back in the old football memory, not necessarily source, but I thought it was over 200 kilos.
So it's 207, so it's a big fucking lift. But I feel I'm stronger now than I was back then.
What is that? And I'm 450 something pounds, like 450,
460 almost.
Yeah. Like I was gonna say 455 is where my brain went with the math.
Yeah. Okay. So around that, but it's awkward. It's kind of rounded shaped.
That was my max ever bench press, by the way. Like, so like
that's a big bench press.
That is a huge amount of weight to lift off of the ground. Like to do it the way you're talking about. Like, to be able to wrap your arms around level. Oh, man.
I've been invited over by actually the people on Turk Island have asked me to come back over. The island itself has invited me back. So
think
So
that's a challenge from the
going back
gods
in
or the
summer.
fairies.
Yeah,
I'm not sure which. There's something hearkening to you to get your ass back out there and do
so
it.
I got to get back out there and do that. So those two islands, if I can get to them this year, man, I'll be a very, very happy man.
Man. Well, David, as always, I love having these conversations with you, man. It makes me so happy. You have filled my pint, even though my pint is almost empty. You've filled my cup as you always do, brother. I love hearing about all the things that you're doing, and I'm so excited for you for all the amazing progress that you have coming and all the passion that you have poured into this is apparent, and that's why I feel like that's why it's coming to fruition in the world, is because it's clear that you're passionate about it, and you've done all the work behind this, and like as someone with Irish heritage, like I really thank you for bringing back this really important part of our culture and all of the work that you've done. So it means so much to me, and to be able to call you a friend and to be even a small part of this journey is so exciting, and to be able to witness it even from afar is phenomenal. So I really hope that everything keeps moving the direction, because you've earned it, you deserve it, and you're awesome, man. I love you so much, and I really appreciate all this time together.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my friend. And it really means a lot to me. And like I said, we keep pounding forward, and we're well overdue to sit down and have one of these together at some stage. So, like I said, if you're around the Boston area, you probably aren't. But if you're around the Boston area in June, you know where I am.
Well, I got the date written down, and they have planes here, so I'm gonna see if I can't get out there for it. We'll
That'd
see.
be awesome.
I got to see how it lines up with the summer travel schedule for the kids and the family and everything. But I would love to if I can. So, all right, brother.
On the ball, my friend. Great chatting to you as always.
See you, bud.
See you, my friend.